Greetings at Cheating Story Lab. Share your location below. Reminds me of the instant when you find out someone you believed in was preparing to bring you down all along. When you uncover that each grin, each dialogue, every apparent display of support were merely tools being amassed for the day they'd strike. I stand as a testament to the universe's peculiar brand of justice. And today I'll recount how concealed security cameras shielded my life from a deception that could have wiped out everything. I'm Tyler, and scarcely 3 months passed. I was in a courtroom hearing my sister-in-law, Victoria, accuse me to a judge of being a dangerous, unstable individual who had endangered her family. She spoke with such fervor, such detail, such seemingly heartfelt apprehension that for a brief moment, I even questioned the accuracy of my own recollections. The irony? I hadn't anticipated this situation until I received an unexpected restraining order petition, allowing me to provide some background information. Approximately 4 years ago, my brother Michael married Victoria. From the beginning, she seemed troubling, with a knack for causing drama and playing the victim so effectively that everyone sympathized with her. Family gatherings became precarious as one could never predict which innocent remark would spark her next emotional outburst. The tension escalated following the tragic car accident that took our parents' lives last year, leaving us their family home and a reasonable inheritance to be divided equally between Michael and me. Victoria began voicing her discontent about my receiving half of everything, arguing that I was merely single with minimal obligations, while they were working on building a family together. Initially, I chose to disregard these comments. Grieving people can utter thoughtless remarks, and I assumed she would move past it, but her comments persisted. She began suggesting that since I lived alone, perhaps I should sell the house and share the profits among them at a discount, as family ought to assist family. My gentle refusal, explaining that the house was too steeped in sentiment for me, triggered a shift in her attitude. She became subtly hostile at first, neglecting to include me in family meals, making veiled criticisms about my lifestyle, doubting my choices within earshot of other relatives. However, I discerned she always did it when Michael wasn't present or could justify it as merely expressing concern for Tyler's welfare. The pivotal moment occurred approximately 6 months ago during Thanksgiving dinner. In an intoxicated state, Victoria criticized my solitary lifestyle within the large house, implying it wasn't healthy for a man my age and suggesting I might be depressed. When I assured her I was content with my living arrangement, she reacted aggressively. She shouted about my selfishness, disregard for our parents' memory by keeping the family home, and indifference towards Michael's future and potential offspring. The entire family witnessed this outburst, and I remained silent to avoid further aggravation. However, Victoria made a crucial error following that dinner. She began sending me lengthy texts expressing her disappointment in me, accusing me of tearing the family apart and threatening to reveal my true character to everyone. I saved every one of those messages. The situation deteriorated over the subsequent months. Unexpectedly, Victoria often appeared at my residence without prior notice, occasionally accompanied by Michael and other times alone. Each visit was characterized by her insistence that I should sell the property, which she passionately advocated for with various reasons. This confrontation would typically take place on my porch, with her voice growing louder as I remained indifferent to her requests. It's essential to note that my father, due to his security concerns, had installed a comprehensive surveillance system in the house prior to his demise. The system encompassed cameras at the front door, back door, driveway, and even a concealed one resembling a smoke detector in the living room. Post his passing, I maintained the system mostly out of routine. Given this setup, Victoria's visits were being recorded, though it wasn't a consideration during the heated exchanges at the time. Instead, my primary concern was maintaining harmony and eventually convincing her to abandon her demands. As a compromise, I proposed purchasing an equally valued property elsewhere using my inheritance funds, hoping it would appease her. However, she rejected this offer, insisting that the family home was non-negotiable. 15 days ago, upon returning from work, I encountered a sheriff's deputy at my door bearing court documents. My ex-partner, Victoria, had sought a restraining order against me, alleging that I had harassed and menaced her family. As stated in her application, I had reportedly appeared unannounced at their residence at various times, left threatening messages, and recently warned her that if she persisted in hassling me regarding the house, I would ensure she would regret it. This was startling news to me, as I had never engaged in such actions. In fact, numerous instances she described transpired on days when I could confirm my whereabouts were elsewhere, either at work or out of town. However, the most alarming aspect was the precision of her narrative. She provided dates, times, and specific recollections of supposed remarks attributed to me. Reading it felt like glancing through another's life narrative, except that it bore my name as the accused, affixed with a sworn oath. Immediately granted was the temporary restraining order, forbidding contact with Michael, attendance at family gatherings, and maintaining a distance of at least 100 yards from Victoria at all times. Violation would lead to immediate arrest. I engaged a lawyer, Christine, a shrewd professional adept in unfounded accusations. Upon viewing Victoria's petition, she merely shook her head and stated, "This seems either entirely fabricated or you possess an extraordinary talent for deceit." I informed her it was fabricated, and she trusted me, but cautioned that such cases usually hinge on credibility, and Victoria had a history of documented incidents which would be challenging to refute. It was then that I recalled the cameras. Upon returning home, I began reviewing months' worth of footage. What I unearthed proved invaluable as evidence. The cameras disproved most of Victoria's alleged occurrences, revealing the real events during her visits to my house instead. In her plea, Victoria asserted that on October 15th, I arrived at her house at midnight, pounding on windows and making threats. However, the footage showed me at home the entire evening, engrossed in Netflix. She alleged on November 3rd that I cornered her in my driveway, grabbed her arm, while shouting about the house. Contrarily, the footage depicted her arriving uninvited, standing on my porch yelling at me, while I remained calmly inside my doorway, never stepping outside or raising my voice. The most incriminating evidence surfaced 2 weeks prior to the filing of the petition. She alleged that I called her and left a voicemail saying, "If you don't back off, I'll make your life hell." In reality, she appeared at my house when I wasn't home, and the camera recorded her leaving a note under my door. Upon arriving home and reading her written demand regarding the house, I phoned her to address it. The camera recorded this call from my living room, capturing audio that was as clear as a bell. During our conversation, I stated, "Victoria, I received your note. I won't be selling the house, and I require you to cease these uninvited visits. Persisting with this matter will create turmoil for everyone in the family." This wasn't the menacing tone she had claimed before the court. Christine was thrilled when I shared the footage. She considered it an unequivocal instance of perjury and believed we had sufficient evidence not only to dismiss the restraining order, but also to file potential criminal charges against Victoria for false reporting. Yesterday marked the court hearing, and I entered with a mix of apprehension and confidence, secure in my truth. There, Victoria stood with her lawyer, displaying an air of calm and playing the frightened victim convincingly. She exhibited a modest demeanor, whispered softly, and occasionally appeared tearful while detailing her fear towards me during her testimony. Upon presenting evidence, she repeated the same falsehoods stated in her petition, embellishing them further with emotional flair. She recounted my supposed cold gaze when I allegedly threatened her, as well as remarks about knowing her workplace and her children's play areas. Her narrative was so persuasive that several individuals in the courtroom gallery expressed nods of sympathy. Then it became our turn. Christine rose, requesting the judge to allow us to present video proof. Victoria's counsel objected promptly, stating they had not been informed previously about any video evidence. Calmly, Christine clarified that we had only recently uncovered the footage and that it directly challenged the petitioner's assertions. The judge granted permission. We initiated with the October 15th footage, the night Victoria claimed I was pounding on her windows. The timestamp confirmed my presence at home, without any opportunity for undetected exit or entry. Victoria's lawyer contested once more, suggesting manipulation of the footage. However, Christine was prepared for this. She presented the original hard drive and a technical expert who testified about the camera system's safety measures, explaining how the timestamps were automatically generated without alteration possibilities. We then played the November 3rd recording. The courtroom fell silent as everyone observed Victoria unexpectedly visiting my house, approaching. the door aggressively while I remained indoors, never stepping out or shouting back. Every word she uttered was audible, including her threats to ruin me if I didn't surrender the property. Yet, the surprising evidence came from footage 2 weeks old. The recording unveiled my making the call contrary to her misrepresentation and revealed the reasonable, non-threatening nature of my conversation in contrast to the aggressive language she alleged. By this juncture, Victoria was noticeably trembling. Her attorney persistently attempted to interject objections, yet the judge seemed engrossed in the proceedings. Christine subsequently displayed the text messages Victoria had sent me, revealing a pattern of harassment and threats from her towards me instead of vice versa. The judge directly queried Victoria regarding these messages after she swore an oath. She admitted to sending them, but claimed they were replies to my threats. However, when Christine highlighted that numerous messages were sent on days I could substantiate no interaction with Victoria, she was unable to reconcile the inconsistency. Phone records demonstrated I hadn't contacted Victoria on numerous dates she alleged. Instead, she frequently phoned me unanswered or ignored. The judge promptly dismissed the restraining order, warning of potential perjury charges. Swiftly, Victoria's attorney declared his client desired to express herself. With tears flowing, Victoria confessed to fabricating some occurrences due to her frustration over the house issue. She expressed regret for any confusion, stating she hadn't intended for things to escalate this way. The judge remained unimpressed. He emphasized that perjury wasn't misunderstanding but a felony, and her false accusations could have devastated an innocent man's life and standing. He additionally mentioned that her confession of culpability occurred only upon encountering irrefutable contradictory proof. Upon exiting the courtroom, Victoria attempted to offer an apology to me, but Christine swiftly intervened and warned her that any further interaction would be regarded as harassment. Michael was stationed outside, visibly stunned. He had witnessed his spouse lie on oath and be exposed in the most prominent manner possible. The events since then have proven intriguing. 3 days ago, Michael filed for divorce. It appears that when he began to scrutinize Victoria's behavior objectively, he discovered that this manipulative and dishonest pattern had existed all along. He has relocated to a friend's residence and requested my assistance in locating a competent divorce lawyer. Victoria stands accused of perjury and filing a false police report. Christine's attorney is attempting to negotiate a plea agreement, but the prosecutor informed Christine they aim to use this case as an exemplary one due to Victoria's false accusations of stalking and threats, which are viewed gravely by the judicial system. The family has provided support amidst their efforts to come to terms with the revelation of Victoria's true character. My aunt contacted me post-hearing to express regret for not voicing concerns earlier about Victoria's actions. She admitted feeling uneasy about Victoria's behavior, yet Victoria's proficiency at portraying herself as a victim deterred others from appearing unsympathetic. This incident has imparted some valuable insights. Initially, rely on your intuition regarding people. I disregarded Victoria's manipulative tendencies from the start because of my desire to maintain family harmony. Second, keep records whenever interacting with individuals displaying signs of unstable or manipulative conduct. In the end, those text messages and surveillance cameras shielded my name and potentially my liberty. Yet the most significant takeaway is that truth, indeed, finds a way to surface, especially in our digitally driven era. Victoria assumed she could weave a convincing tale and wreck my life with her fabrications, but she overlooked the fact that in 2024, everything gets documented somewhere. The security recordings didn't merely vindicate me. They exposed her true nature in a manner that no acting or machinations could counteract. At times, justice takes shape as a judge observing mute video evidence, while the liar becomes aware of their deceit unraveling moment by moment. If you find yourself confronted with someone leveling false charges against you, persevere. Gather proof, preserve all communications, and bear in mind that liars often stumble on their own lies eventually. Truth may be potent, but evidence renders it invincible. Until next time, stay tuned.